was 26.
26,
26,
wow.
maybe I was 27. And so, yeah, of course, that bubbled up a whole crop of what the heck am I doing? But I don't know. I just had this blind faith. Maybe it's like that it would work out, that I am destined for something larger and greater. And I don't know what shape or form it's going to take, but that I certainly was destined for something bigger than this, whatever that was, and that I deserve to be happy with what I was doing. And that was that. So I had my baby. I'm busy, exiting this PR firm. Part of the deal was that I had to stay on for a bit to make all the clients comfortable and all that sort of stuff. But it was okay. I was willing to do that because I saw sort of the end in sight. And I also, and I knew I wanted to do something else. I didn't know what. I knew I wanted to create big change. I didn't know what. So in 2007, I gave birth to my son. A few weeks after I gave birth, I had hired a lactation consultant who came to my home, and she was looking at some baby bottles that were sitting in my home. And she said, oh, well, you can't use these baby bottles. And, I said, well, why not? They're perfectly fine. I just took them out of the box and washed them. And she said, no, because they have something called BPA in them, which I don't know how many of you know what BPA is. At the time, barely anybody knew what BPA is, but it's actually a chemical that's leached out of plastics and has been known to cause tremendous damage in people. And so, of course, like any new hormonal, sleepy new mom, I completely freaked out. I sent my husband to 5 different Whole Foods to look for a brand of baby bottles. At the time, there was one named Born Free that was BPA free. That was the only brand, I think, at the time that was BPA free, known to be BPA free. They were all out at all the whole different shops that we had visited in the area. So I had went on the internet and found the manufacturer in Israel, of all places, Israel. So I leave a voicemail on a 1-800 number of some sort, or some foreign number, thinking no one's going to call me. Somebody did, who led me then to another 1-800 number in Florida to their distributor. So I call this number. No one's there, of course. I leave a voicemail. Woman calls me back. And while she's calling me back and I'm talking to her, I notice this accent. And I'm thinking, well, what is this accent? And it occurs to me that, this is somebody who's from Minnesota. There's a very peculiar accent that's very distinct to that state.
I've heard that accent.
So I mentioned to her, are you from Minnesota? And she says yes. And it turns out we were from the same town where I grew up. And we started talking, and instantly I felt more comfortable. So I said, well, what's the deal with these baby bottles? Because as far as I'm concerned, this is a great product, but I'm having a really hard time finding it. And she says to me, well, we have a distribution problem. I can't say that voila, instantly I thought, let's do e-commerce, because let me sort of set the stage for e-commerce in 2007. It was not hot. Now e-commerce is really hot. It's a lot easier. There's lots of financing available. In 2007, that was not the case. If you were doing mobile applications, you were God. If you were doing e-commerce, you were stupid. But so again, it's not like I instantly thought I was going to start an e-commerce business, but 1 or 2 more sort of examples like this happen. I mean, from the woman at this baby bottle company, I ended up having to buy a case from her because I think they were unable to sell one at a time since they were a distributor. So I always joke that that's how I started my business. And to be fair, they really were my first product at Generation Orange. But a few more situations happened like this. And I thought, well, let me see. Let me just start a store. And if I could buy something for X and try to sell it for a little more, that sounded like a pretty good business to me. So I had a couple roadblocks though. Well, as much as I learned about the internet, I, did not know how to code. My husband, who became my business partner, had a business degree and a law degree, did not know how to code and build a new internet website, especially a store. So I used the age-old practice of barter. I found these college students at USC who were coders, and they had a startup, and they needed PR, but they didn't have the money for PR. So I said to them I would give them PR service if in return they would build me a website where I could sell stuff. And that's how I built my first website, with $0. And so I built my first store, and I bought some product. And at the time, when I applied for a bank account for the new business, Visa and Amex had given me like $4K, I think, on a business credit card. So I maxed out that card. So I always joke that Visa and Amex funded my business, but and I bought, you know, whatever amount of inventory. But what was is okay, well, I have this beautiful site and it went live on November 25th, 2007. It was like the day after Thanksgiving, something like that. But nobody came. Nobody came to my site. Nobody bought anything. So I was like, okay, how do I get people to my site? Well, that's where my PR skills came into handy. So I realized that for a no-name company during the holidays who sell products that are interesting but are slightly more expensive than other products, how the heck was I going to get any press coverage? It was going to be really tough, and I needed to make some money fast. So I used what I knew best, which was being a mommy. And I went on blogs and I talked to other moms. I sent little newsletters out to mom groups like listservs. And slowly but surely, I still remember getting that first sale. And what I noticed and subsequently noticed and still continue to notice, that if somebody will buy from a block or a street or a town, you will get more orders from that block, that street, that town over time.